time for another story. Another gaming memory. When I was younger, in those prepubescent, adolescent, all the essence, video gamer years, I always seemed to be one generation behind. And it all starts with the NES, which I actually inherited from my aunt when I was a kid. She didn't have time for it. I mean, she was a grown-up. It was just video games. And, you know, now I'm a grown-up, and I still play the Nintendo and other video games, because she just didn't get it, man. It's what people do when they're older. So yeah, I played a lot of the NES, and then it was getting to that point where the Super Nintendo Entertainment System was coming out very soon. The hype was there, and I was getting hype! Oh, so hype about it. Because I wanted that Super Nintendo. I wanted it so bad! So bad! I could feel it in my buns. But the time came. The Super Nintendo was released, and you know what? We didn't get it. So my parents, we already had the Nintendo, we had a gaming system, we could play games on it, you could still buy the games. So why buy little Game Dave this brand new expensive console when he has one that already plays games? And that was the logic that they probably used on me, when really the logical reason was they costed money and my family wasn't rich. We're running around and wiping our butts with gold bars and dancing in the streets, throwing hundreds. It's like, is this how? Not sure why I used the back of my palm. I guess it would just stack $100 bills on there and just, okay. You know, just because my family didn't have tons of money didn't mean I couldn't mooch. Because just a house or two down were our close friends, the neighbors. The neighbors' family, they had kids, and we hung out with them all the time. And guess what they had? The Super Nintendo Entertainment System, the SNES. Now, I wouldn't say they were rich, but I would say that they were rich. Definitely of the wealthy variety. They had quite a large house compared to my family's. Well, maybe I just thought it was huge because it was bigger than ours, but I'm pretty sure they were a little wealthy. I'm saying, they had the Super Nintendo. They must have been rich, to my little kid brain. And my brother and I would go over there all the time. We would walk over, hang out with them. You know, they had a trampoline, they had go-karts, I think. They just had all kinds of stuff to do. But what did little Game Dave want to do? I wanted to bounce myself right off that trampoline, and I wanted to get into the house and get my hands on all those buttons, all that Super Nintendo goodness. You know, because I was still playing my games with this thing. Look, that's got like no buttons on it. Get out of here. I wanted to play with this thing. Look at all those buttons. You got 4 buttons. You got shoulder buttons. It's crazy. Just wanted to get my hands on it, my face. Just shave with it. Shave my hairless face as a child. And I don't even remember them having a lot of games for the system. I remember going over there and playing Street Fighter 2, played a lot of Final Fight, and of course Super Mario World. You know, some of the, you gotta get the classic in there. But I fell in love with that Super Nintendo, and I just wanted to steal it. I just wanted to be like, hey, I know our friendship means a lot, but let me just steal this and forever tarnish it. So really, it was a couple of years that the only chance I got to really play the Super Nintendo was when I went over to our neighbor's house and got on that SNES and made a mess. Unnecessary rhyme. But then my family and I, we moved away and lost touch with those neighbors, and none of my neighbors nearby had a Super Nintendo. Didn't really hang out with a lot of those neighbors. What was I gonna do? To me, that Super Nintendo had always been this unattainable thing. I was never gonna have one. Just had to play the NES for the rest of my life. But then when I had no way to play it anymore, nowhere to mooch, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna get one myself. I'm gonna pay for it. What? Big baller Dave is gonna save up some cash. So I saved up my allowances, I saved up grass cutting money, any money I could scrounge up so that I could buy my own Super Nintendo. And I pulled it off. I was so excited. I was like, you know what? I have enough. I'm gonna get the Super Nintendo. Mom! 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 No, Mom. Sorry, Mom. I'm doing a video. I'm not actually calling for you. I don't live with my mom. I have my own house. Come on. Mom, go. So I had her take me to the store, and I bought my very own Super Nintendo. But it had been a very long time since the original release of the Super Nintendo. So what did I get? Got the SNES Mini. Got the mini Super Nintendo. Because it's all they had available at the time. They didn't have the original one in stock anymore. They were selling the bite-sized slim version of the Super Nintendo. But that didn't stop me. I played tons of games on that mini Super Nintendo. And even when my friends were moving on to the Nintendo 64 or the PlayStation, I was still playing my Super Nintendo. And you know what? Even though I was a generation behind back then, it didn't matter. I don't think I would even change it. And honestly, it probably made me appreciate my games even more. Attention, package for Game Dave, and this one comes from Japan, in case you didn't believe me. It says Japan on it, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up with this fancy hunting knife. I guess I'm done. I'm going to be done now.